The forces of chaos are the myriad factions and entities united under the malevolent influence of the chaos gods. Known by the defenders of the Imperium as the arch-enemy, these forces include former servants of the Imperium, now branded as renegades or traitors after falling to corruption. This collective term encompasses all mortal and demonic followers dedicated to the individual ruinous powers, Khorne, Nurgle, Tzeentch, and Slaanesh, or to the overarching power of chaos undivided. The diverse legions of chaos. Among the most formidable and recognizable of Chaos's armies are the Chaos Space Marines. These corrupted Astartes are the spearhead of Chaos's assaults, bringing fear and destruction wherever they tread. However, they do not stand alone. Supporting them is an extensive array of other Chaos-aligned forces. Human Chaos. Cultists are fanatical followers who worship the dark gods and act as foot soldiers and agents of subversion. Traitoris Militarum. Soldiers are former Imperial Guard units who have defected to Chaos, bringing their military training and equipment with them. Traitor Titan legions are colossal war machines that once served the Emperor, but now sow destruction in the name of the ruinous powers. Chaos Knights are the force of the noble houses that have fallen under Chaos's sway, piloting towering knight suits to fight for their dark patrons. Dark Mechanicum are the rogue elements of the Adeptus Mechanicus, who have embraced forbidden technologies and the worship of chaos. Legions of chaos demons are the otherworldly entities summoned from the warp to wreak havoc in the material realm. Together, these forces constitute the vast and terrifying chaos, each faction bringing unique strengths and horrors to the battlefield. The mortal servants of chaos who are not heretic Astartes are often referred to collectively as the lost and the damned by the Imperium. The commanders of chaos. Greater demons. At the pinnacle of Chaos's power structure are the greater demons, immense and terrifying avatars of the chaos gods they serve. These entities include Slaanesh's Keeper of Secrets, Khorne's Bloodthirster, Nurgle's Great Unclean One, and Tzeentch's Lord of Change. When summoned to the battlefield, these greater demons can assume the role of force commander for any chaos army aligned with their respective deity. Greater demons are the living embodiments of their god's will and essence. They not only protect their divine realms, but also execute their master's commands with ruthless precision. They often spearhead invasions into the material world, serving as heralds and champions of the ruinous powers, guiding chaos sorcerers and champions in their dark endeavors. Despite their allegiance to the chaos gods, greater demons have their own ambitions and schemes, each contributing to the grand machinations of their patron deity. In the physical universe, greater demons manifest as colossal, fearsome creatures capable of overwhelming entire armies and obliterating even the heaviest of armored vehicles. Their powers are drawn from the warp, giving them access to strange and potent sorceries, or in the case of Khorne, supernatural physical enhancements. Virtually impervious to conventional weapons, these demonic entities are walking nightmares on the battlefield. Summoning a greater demon into real space is a fearful and costly endeavor. It requires an immense amount of psychic energy to pierce the veil between the warp and the material realm. This energy is often provided through a sacrificial rite, where a living being is used as a gateway for the demon's entry. The sheer force of the demon crossing into the material universe typically results in the destruction of this host, a gruesome price for unleashing such a power. Once a greater demon has established its presence in the material world, it can further weaken the barrier between realities, allowing it to summon lesser demons aligned with its chaos god. For instance, a bloodthirster can call forth bloodletters, the lesser demons of Khorne, to bolster its forces. These lesser demons add to the chaotic tide, bringing more destruction and terror to the battle. The forces of chaos represent the ultimate antithesis to the order and stability of the Imperium. Composed of a vast array of corrupted warriors, dark sorcerers, and demonic entities, they are unified under the dark banner of the Chaos Gods. From the might of the Chaos Space Marines to the insidious influence of the Dark Mechanicum and the terrifying presence of greater and lesser demons, chaos is a relentless and ever-present threat to the galaxy. Each faction within Chaos plays a role in the ceaseless war against the Imperium, driven by the unholy ambitions of their dark masters. Demon Princes, champions of Chaos. A demon prince is a former human who has risen to the ranks of the Chaos God's most powerful servants. These beings are champions of Chaos who have earned the favor of one of the major ruinous powers, or the collective will of Chaos undivided. Their ascension to demonhood is both a reward and a transformation, granting them godlike power and eternal life as a creature of the warp, but at the cost of their humanity. For many of Chaos's mortal followers, the ultimate ambition is to achieve demonhood and become a demon prince. This transformation is the highest honor a Chaos champion can attain, marking their successful service and devotion to their chosen deity. To be elevated to this status, a champion must perform extraordinary deeds in the name of their god, often involving immense sacrifice, cunning, and martial prowess. The ascension process itself is a grueling and painful metamorphosis that reshapes the champion's body and soul, aligning them with the dark essence of the warp. Demon princes possess a unique blend of attributes that make them powerful entities. They combine the raw strength and supernatural abilities of demons with the strategic mind and combat skills honed during their mortal life, often as powerful space marines. This fusion makes them exceptionally dangerous opponents on the battlefield. They are not only potent warriors, but also influential leaders, commanding legions of Chaos forces with an authority derived from their dual nature as both demon and former mortal. Once transformed, demon princes become living extensions of their patron Chaos God's will, or the universal force of Chaos undivided. This profound connection to the warp grants them near immortality. In the material universe, they cannot be permanently destroyed. They can only be banished back to the immaterium for a set period, typically 1,000 standard years. This cyclical return from banishment ensures their continued presence as long as Chaos remains a force in the galaxy. However desirable, the path to demonhood is fraught with peril. Champions who seek ascension and fail to meet their patrons' expectations often face a dire fate. Instead of gaining the power and immortality of a demon prince, they are cast aside and transformed into Chaos spawn, grotesque, mindless mutants that are the embodiment of their failed ambitions and corrupted nature. This fate is a stark reminder of the precarious balance between glory and damnation for those who serve Chaos. Demon princes play a pivotal role in the armies of Chaos. They often serve as lieutenants to the greater demons, leading demonic incursions into the material realm and acting as commanders in the endless wars waged by Chaos. Their knowledge of mortal tactics and their ability to harness the powers of the warp make them invaluable assets in the perpetual conflict against the forces of the Imperium and other foes. Despite their immense power, demon princes are viewed with disdain by true demons. These beings see demon princes as tainted by their mortal origins, inherently flawed and lesser compared to the pure entities of the warp. This perceived inferiority does not diminish their effectiveness or their standing among the mortal followers of Chaos, but it underscores the complex hierarchy within the realms of the ruinous powers. As long as the Chaos gods wield their dark influence, demon princes will continue to exist. They are timeless avatars of Chaos, embodying the dark will of their patrons and perpetuating the war against the order of the Imperium. Their presence on the battlefield instills fear and dread, and their leadership galvanizes the forces of Chaos into relentless and savage action. In the shadowed realms of the warp and the battlefields of the material universe, demon princes are the epitome of the Chaos gods' power and ambition, forever striving to expand their influence and cement their dominance over all creation. Chaos Lords, mortal champions of the ruinous powers. Chaos Lords are formidable individuals who have pledged their very souls to the Chaos gods in exchange for power and dominion. They are driven by an insatiable hunger for supremacy, seeking to impose their will upon the galaxy through any means necessary. These men and women stand as the epitome of what it means to be a champion of Chaos, wielding immense power granted by their dark patrons. Becoming a Chaos Lord is not a matter of simply rising through the ranks in a structured, hierarchical manner. Instead, it is often those who are most favored by the Chaos Gods or who possess exceptional strength, charisma, or cunning can attain this title. The ruinous powers bestow their blessings upon these individuals, often transforming them with grotesque mutations and enhancing their physical abilities to further their cause. Chaos Lords are characterized by their ability to bend other followers of Chaos to their will. Their power and influence allow them to command entire warbands, and in some cases, legions of Chaos forces. However, this position of authority is dangerous, as the path to power in the service of Chaos is littered with treachery and bloodshed. Advancement is frequently achieved through the death or betrayal of rival lords or champions, making trust a rare and fleeting commodity among them. Chaos Lords come in various forms, each exemplifying different aspects of their allegiance to the ruinous powers. Brute strength. Some Chaos Lords dominate through sheer physical prowess. These warlords are towering figures of raw power, capable of crushing their enemies with overwhelming force. Their might alone is a fearful spectacle, demanding obedience, cunning and strategy. Others rise to power through their intelligence and strategic acumen. These lords are master tacticians, adept at manipulating their foes and allies alike to achieve their objectives. Their plans are often complex and far-reaching, designed to sow chaos and maximize their advantage. Maniacal and self-absorbed. Certain Chaos Lords are driven by a relentless desire for personal glory. These maniacs pursue their own aggrandizement above all else, seeking to elevate themselves in the eyes of their dark gods through acts of unparalleled violence and destruction, trying to perfect themselves in the arts of combat and warfare. Zealous devotion. Some Chaos Lords are fervent worshippers of their deities, displaying a zealous dedication to the goals of the dark gods. Their success in furthering the agendas of the ruinous powers earns them vast power and the authority to lead significant forces, including other champions of chaos. The unquenchable thirst for power and control defines the existence of Chaos Lords. Their ambitions drive them to attain ever greater authority, regardless of the cost to themselves or others. This relentless pursuit of dominion can lead them to extreme measures, including betrayal, murder, and the invocation of dark sorceries. Failure to meet the expectations of the Chaos Gods, however, often results in dire consequences. Those who falter in their service can expect severe punishments, ranging from horrifying mutations to complete destruction or damnation. On the battlefield, Chaos Lords are often at the forefront of the conflict, leading their forces with a combination of terror and tactical brilliance. They are not only commanders, but also respectable warriors in their own right, capable of achieving an advantage through their prowess. The life of a Chaos Lord is one of constant struggle. They must continually prove their worth to their dark masters and fend off the challenges of rivals seeking to usurp their power. Their existence is a ceaseless quest for greater power and influence, driven by the insidious whispers of the Chaos Gods and their own insatiable desires. Chaos. Sorcerers. The arcane practitioners of the ruinous powers. Chaos sorcerers are psykers who have turned away from the Emperor's light to embrace the dark allure of chaos. Once space marine librarians or mortal psykers, these individuals have pledged their allegiance to the Chaos Gods. In return, they are bestowed with immense sorcerous powers that continually drive them to seek greater knowledge and strength, even at the peril of being consumed by the malevolent entities of the warp. Revered as chaos sorcerers, these entities wield psychic abilities so potent that they resemble the ancient concept of magic. These powers enable them to perform feats that defy the laws of the natural world, casting devastating spells and manipulating reality to further their dark ambitions. Their mastery of these arcane forces makes them invaluable to the Chaos Forces, acting as both powerful warriors and enigmatic seers. Among the ruinous powers, only Khorne, the blood god, rejects the use of psychic powers. He perceives them as tools of the weak and unworthy. Khorne's followers therefore spurn any association with sorcery. Those who turn to Khorne's path will often hunt down and sacrifice psykers within their ranks as an offering to their god, and as a testament to their absolute devotion. This brutal purge reinforces their commitment to Khorne's principle of strength through martial prowess and bloodshed. Chaos. Sorcerers are typically characterized by their intense selfishness, madness, and profound insight. These traits are often the result of the myriad gifts bestowed upon them by their patron deities or the dark pacts they have forged with the demons of the warp. Among the Chaos gods, Tzeentch, the deity of change and sorcery, is particularly favored by many Chaos sorcerers. Tzeentch's followers are drawn to his promise of transformation and enlightenment through the arcane arts. The journey of a Chaos sorcerer is one of relentless pursuit of personal power and esoteric knowledge. The dark blessings they receive from the Chaos gods come with a price, and these debts must ultimately be repaid. Their lives are a delicate balance between wielding vast sorcerous abilities and avoiding the ever-present threat of being overwhelmed by the very forces they seek to master. This perilous path demands constant vigilance and cunning, as the denizens of the warp are always ready to claim the souls of those who overreach in their unquenchable thirst for forbidden knowledge. Aspiring and exalted champions, the rising stars of the traitor legions. Within the ranks of the traitor legions, certain individuals distinguish themselves from their corrupted brethren. These figures, known as aspiring Chaos champions and exalted Chaos champions, exhibit exceptional leadership qualities, sharpened through the relentless struggle to assert dominance over their warbands of renegade Adeptus Astartes. Aspiring and exalted champions are typically Chaos Space Marines or sorcerers who follow a more powerful Chaos Lord into battle, serving the malevolent will of the ruinous powers. Their ultimate aim is to ascend the ranks of Chaos, either by becoming fully recognized Chaos champions or even aspiring to the exalted status of Demon Prince. To achieve these lofty goals, they commit themselves to the path of Chaos, performing deeds and gathering power that will elevate them in the eyes of their dark gods. In the complex hierarchy of a Chaos army, these champions act as crucial extensions of leadership. They undertake missions and responsibilities that the primary commanders either cannot or will not handle. Although not as dominant as the main force leaders, their presence significantly enhances the combat effectiveness and strategic flexibility of their units. They contribute to a more diverse array of battlefield tactics, ensuring that their warbands remain respectable opponents. Aspiring and exalted champions are always poised to seize command should their leader fall victim to misfortune or treachery, a common occurrence in the cutthroat world of Chaos. Their ambition is palpable. They burn with a desire to ascend further in the hierarchy of the ruinous powers. They adorn their armor with trophies taken from the slain, and wield ancient, potent weapons, some of which date back to the dark days of the Horus Heresy. Only the most brutal and skilled among the aspiring champions can survive the treacherous path to becoming Chaos Lords. These aspirants must navigate a world where power is often secured through violence and ruthlessness. The most powerful aspiring champions aim to earn a suit of tactical dreadnought armor, also known as Terminator armor. This prized equipment grants near invulnerability against all but the most powerful attacks, and allows them to wield powerful weapons beyond the capabilities of standard, power-armored traitor legionnaires. Coveted by many aspiring leaders, it is a rare and valuable asset. This armor, with its immense protective capabilities and enhanced strength, allows its wearer to engage in close combat with impressive effectiveness. For those who attain it, this armor is not only a tool of war, but also a symbol of their triumph over countless rivals. The armaments of aspiring and exalted champions are symbols of their ambition and prowess. Their decorated armor is both a testament to their past victories and a promise of their future conquests. Their weapons, ancient and imbued with dark power, enable them to strike fear into the hearts of their enemies and assert their dominance on the battlefield. Aspiring and exalted champions are driven by an unrelenting thirst for recognition. Their journey is one of constant struggle and ambition as they strive to outmaneuver their rivals and earn the favor of the Chaos gods. Success in this brutal hierarchy requires not only martial skill and strategic acumen, but also a willingness to embrace the darkest aspects of chaos. The Dark Apostles, the zealous leaders of the Word-bearers. The Dark Apostles serve as the spiritual leaders and de facto commanders of the Word-bearers' traitor legion, standing just below their Primarch, Lorgar in authority and reverence. Unlike many followers of chaos who pledge themselves to a specific deity, the Dark Apostles and their brethren venerate the pantheon of the chaos gods collectively, worshipping the combined force of chaos undivided. Long before the outbreak of the Horus heresy, the Dark Apostles had already shifted the word-bearers' fervent devotion from the Emperor's creed to the exaltation of chaos undivided. They redirected the Legion's unyielding faith from the flawed imperial truth to the fervent worship of the chaos gods. This change marked a turning point for the Legion as they embraced the dark powers of the warp with unbridled enthusiasm. The Dark Apostles continued to wield their Crozius Arcanum, a weapon that once symbolized their role as chaplains before their fall to chaos. These weapons, now known as Accursed Crozius, have been thoroughly corrupted, transformed into powerful icons of the dark gods they serve. These relics signify the bearer's favored status among the chaos deities, as well as being incredibly effective in battle. This dark favor offers protection and forges a profound bond with the malevolent entities of the warp. When Dark Apostles march to war, they present a fearsome sight. Fueled by their unshakable faith, bolstered by demonic blessings, and empowered by the superhuman abilities of a space marine, they become nearly unstoppable forces on the battlefield. Their mere presence can be a crucial factor to achieving victory, as their zeal and power strike fear into the hearts of their enemies. Those who stand against a Dark Apostle often meet a swift and brutal end, rarely surviving to recount their ordeal. The Dark Apostles harbour a deep-seated animosity towards the Adeptus Ministorum, the ecclesiarchy of the Imperium, and all its allies. They revel in the destruction of imperial temples, the desecration of imperial cult banners, and the slaughter of the ecclesiarchy's adherents. Missionaries, the Sisters of Battle from the Adeptus Sororitas, and the Inquisitors of the Ordo Hereticus are particular targets of their wrath. Destroying these symbols of the Imperium's faith and order brings them immense satisfaction and furthers their goal of spreading chaos across the galaxy. Within the Word-Bearers Legion, the Dark Apostles serve as both spiritual and military leaders. They guide their brethren in the dark rituals and doctrines of chaos undivided, ensuring the Legion remains steadfast in their worship and service to the ruinous powers. Their influence is profound, shaping the Legion's strategies and fueling their relentless crusades against the Imperium. The Dark Apostles' connection to the Warp and their unwavering devotion grant them significant power and influence. They can summon demonic allies to aid them in battle and perform dark rites to strengthen their forces. Their leadership is marked by a blend of religious fervor and martial prowess, making them serious opponents on both spiritual and physical battlegrounds. The Dark Apostles are the epitome of zealous devotion to chaos. Their transition from the Emperor's faithful to champions of chaos undivided reflects their deep-seated fanaticism and unyielding commitment to the dark gods. With their corrupted Crozius and their hatred for the ecclesiarchy, they lead their legion with a blend of spiritual guidance and brutal force. As long as the word-bearers march in the name of chaos, the Dark Apostles will be at the forefront, spreading the corrupting influence of the warp and seeking to overthrow the Imperium. Chaos elites, the possessed. In the ranks of Chaos Space Marines, mutation is a common fate, particularly among those who have attracted the attention of the Chaos Gods. Tzeentch, the god of change, is especially prone to bestowing these gifts upon corrupted heretic Astartes. Yet for the most fanatical warbands, simply dedicating their souls to the ruinous powers is not sufficient. Some Chaos Space Marines take their devotion a step further, choosing to become living vessels for demons of the warp. These Astartes willingly submit themselves to possession, embracing the presence of these malevolent entities within their bodies. To prepare for this transformation, they undergo elaborate rituals of scarification and debasement, offering sacrifices and physically conditioning their bodies to accommodate their demonic guests. Once possessed, these Chaos Space Marines are unmistakable due to their grotesque and horrifying features. Their bodies undergo drastic and disturbing mutations as they merge with the demonic entities. They sprout vicious fangs, rending claws, sharp horns and writhing tentacles, transforming into a monstrous fusion of marine and demon. These physical changes are not merely cosmetic, they reflect the profound corruption and dark power that now resides within them. Possession bestows the Chaos Space Marines with extraordinary abilities. They gain tremendous speed, heightened resilience, and immense strength, making them dangerous adversaries on the battlefield. These possessed Marines can rend their enemies apart with their bare hands and use their newfound inhuman senses to perceive the warp presence of other beings. This enhanced perception allows the possessed Astartes to detect enemy positions with uncanny accuracy, effectively seeing through the warp. They can hunt down potential victims and ferret out hidden foes without needing to rely on conventional sight. This ability makes them exceptional trackers and deadly opponents, able to navigate the chaos of battle with supernatural precision. The path to becoming a possessed Chaos Space Marine is in essence a long ritual that requires meticulous preparation. The willing host must endure rituals designed to weaken their ties to their original humanity and strengthen their connection to the warp. These ceremonies often involve physical mutilation, dark incantations, and the offering of sacrifices to the Chaos Gods, all aimed at making the Astartes' body a suitable vessel for the demonic entity. The transformation into a possessed Chaos Space Marine is both a blessing and a curse. While this union grants immense power and fearsome capabilities, it also marks a point of no return as the warrior becomes a monstrous herald of the ruinous powers. In their quest for greater power and favor from the Chaos Gods, these possessed Marines become living embodiments of the corruption and horror that defines the Dark God's influence in the galaxy. Terminators. Chaos Terminators are the seasoned veterans of the Chaos Space Marines, comparable to the loyalist Terminators of the Space Marine chapters. These battle-hardened warriors have fought through countless engagements and now choose to don the ancient tactical dreadnought armor or Terminator armor that has been passed down within their traitor legions. Like their loyalist counterparts, Chaos Terminators are heavily armored, which significantly slows their movement on the battlefield. Due to their ponderous nature, they often rely on transport vehicles such as rhinos or utilize teleportation technology to be strategically deployed during combat. This ensures they can strike effectively despite their mobility limitations. The significant difference between Chaos Terminators and their loyalist equivalents lies in the dark blessings they receive from the warp. These warriors are often marked by mutations and empowered with demonic gifts. Their armor and weapons are enhanced by unholy artifacts of chaos, imbuing them with petrifying powers that go beyond mere physical prowess, as these dark endowments make them even more deadly adversaries on the battlefield. Within their warbands, Chaos Terminators are highly esteemed by their leaders. Many of them are aspiring champions who have set themselves apart from their peers to seek greater favor from the ruinous powers. Their ambition drives them to prove their worthiness and rise in rank. The rare and powerful Terminator armor is a prize among these champions, often only acquired through the death of its previous owner, be it through direct confrontation or more deceitful methods. In the chaotic hierarchy of the traitor legions, Chaos Terminators frequently serve as the elite personal guards for prominent Chaos champions. They are tasked with enforcing their leaders' commands within the warband, and are often rewarded with the most valuable spoils of victory. Their role as enforcers and elite warriors places them at the forefront of their warband's power structure. Chaos Terminators are known for their egotism and brutish demeanor. They leverage their physical might, demonic gifts, and the favor of their leaders to dominate and intimidate other members of the warband. Their presence and aggressive behavior ensure that they are both feared and respected, maintaining their authority and control through sheer force. Chaos Troops, Space Marines. Chaos Space Marines serve as the elite shock troops of the Chaos Forces, embodying a ferocious zeal and power that rival their counterparts, the loyalist Space Marines. However, what sets them apart is their brutal devotion to the ruinous powers and the additional strength they draw from the chaotic energies of the warp. These heretic Astartes primarily hail from the 9 original traitor legions that turned against the Emperor of Mankind during the Horus Heresy, a cataclysmic civil war that erupted over 10,000 standard years ago. Some Chaos Space Marines, however, originate from more recent Space Marine chapters that have since fallen from grace and embraced the path of chaos, becoming renegades. Many Chaos Space Marines continue to wield the ancient patterns of power armor and weapons they possessed during their initial betrayal at the dawn of the Horus Heresy. While these relics bear a strong resemblance to the equipment used by modern loyalist Space Marines, there are noticeable differences in design and function, such as the appearance of their power armor and the configuration of jump packs. These Dark Warriors are often further empowered by the mutations and demonic enhancements bestowed upon them by the Chaos Gods. Cut off from the Imperium and the Emperor's light, Chaos Space Marines are forever entrenched in their allegiance to Chaos. They have forsaken peace, forgiveness, and the possibility of redemption. The malevolent forces of the warp have granted them unnatural longevity, preventing them from aging or dying for over 10 millennia since their rebellion. This immortality allows them to gain inhumanly vast experience, far surpassing that of even the most seasoned loyalist Space Marine veterans. Over thousands of Terran years, they have fought in countless battles, relentlessly pursuing their long war across the galaxy. Driven by an all-consuming hatred for the so-called Corpse Emperor, the Imperium of Man and all of humanity, the Chaos Space Marines have become a festering cancer within the heart of the Imperium. Their insatiable desire for vengeance and dominance fuels their eternal crusade against the Emperor's realm. They are relentless in their efforts to spread chaos and destruction, embodying the insidious corruption of the ruinous powers they serve. Plague Marines, the diseased champions of Nurgle. Plague Marines are the Chaos Space Marines who have devoted their existence entirely to the worship and service of Nurgle, the Chaos God of decay, disease and rot. Encased within their grotesque and repulsive power armor, their bodies are swollen with infections, bloated with corruption, and rife with decay. Yet these blighted warriors feel no pain, thanks to Nurgle's greatest mutational gift, which numbs them to the agonies of their afflictions. Infused with the foul corruption of Nurgle, their bodies are immune to the horrendous pain inflicted by the warp pox of Grandfather Nurgle, and they are rendered impervious to death from its ghastly symptoms. Despite their power armor appearing corroded and encrusted with rust, and their bodies exuding a continuous stream of slime and the stench of rot, Plague Marines somehow remain fearsome and proficient combatants. Since the Horus Heresy, many Space Marines have turned to Nurgle, seeking the putrid blessings that would allow them to join the ranks of the Plague Marines. However, few achieve this honor. Those who wish to become part of this elite cadre of pestilence must pledge their loyalty to the Death Guard Traitor Legion and their Primarch, Mortarion. While they are not required to become full members of the Death Guard, their allegiance must be clear. Only then will Nurgle grant them the corrupting gift of Nurgle's rot, which transformed the original Plague Marines into the bloated horrors they are today. Outside the Death Guard, a select few Chaos Sorcerers dedicated to Nurgle, known as Blight Mages, possess the knowledge to create Plague Marines. These sorcerers have often been recruited by Abaddon, the despoiler of the Black Legion. In exchange for unwavering loyalty and long service, these Blight Mages use their dark arts to bestow Nurgle's pestilent blessings upon Abaddon's forces, advancing the cause of chaos undivided. The Plague Marines live to spread Nurgle's gifts of disease and decay across the universe. They command the plague fleets of Nurgle, which periodically emerge from the Eye of Terror. These fleets, piloted by the Plague Marines, journey across the galaxy with a singular purpose: to disseminate Nurgle's warp-borne contagions and pestilences throughout countless star systems. Their vile mission is to ensure that all life feels the touch of Nurgle's rot. Despite their repulsive appearance and the constant aura of decay that surrounds them, Plague Marines are skilled warriors. They possess immunity to pain and corrupting influence. They wield their weapons with deadly proficiency, and their mere presence can spread fear and disease among their enemies. Rubric Marines, the ghostly warriors. Rubric Marines are the spectral remnants of the Thousand Suns Legion, transformed into mindless automatons trapped within their ancient power armor. These tragic figures are the result of a powerful spell cast by the chaos sorcerer Ahriman, known as the Rubric of Ahriman, which inadvertently bound their souls within their armor and reduced their bodies to mere dust. The Rubric Marines were once part of the Thousand Sons Legion, a group of heretic Astartes plagued by the relentless mutations of the flesh change, a curse brought on by the energies of the warp. This degeneration afflicted those among the Thousand Sons who lacked significant psychic abilities. Seeking to save his battle brothers from this dire fate after their exile to the planet of the sorcerers in the Eye of Terror during the Horus heresy, Ahriman performed the Rubric spell. Ahriman's ritual aimed to end the perpetual mutations among the Thousand Sons. While it succeeded in halting the flesh change, it did so at a great cost. The spell turned those legionaries with little or no psychic potential into empty suits of power armor, with their physical forms disintegrated into dust and their souls forever bound within their armor. This transformation left them as soulless automatons, eternally trapped in their ancient, ornately crafted suits. As a result of their transformation, Rubric Marines no longer experience mortal pain or pleasure. They are effectively immune to the usual vulnerabilities of flesh and blood, making them incredibly resilient in battle. The only way to destroy them is to completely annihilate their armor, thus releasing the soul trapped within. Until then, they remain as silent, relentless guardians, devoid of personal will or emotion. In battle, Rubric Marines must be led by a sorcerer from the Thousand Sons, who possesses the psychic power necessary to guide them. Without the direction of a powerful psyker, these spectral warriors are nearly useless in combat, lacking the capacity to act independently. The death of their guiding sorcerer renders them inert, highlighting their dependency on the psychic prowess of their commanders. Blood for the Blood God. Khornate Berserkers are Chaos Space Marines who thrive on the carnage of battle, driven by an insatiable thirst for bloodshed. The origins of these ferocious warriors trace back to the brutal experiments conducted by Angron, the ruthless primarch of the World Eaters Legion. When Angron took command of the 12th Space Marine Legion, he implemented drastic and savage changes. Influenced by the success of his own cortical implants, known as the Butcher's Nails, which heightened aggression and suppressed pain, Angron mandated that these implants be surgically inserted into every Astartes of the World Eaters. These implants exponentially increased their ferocity and tolerance to pain, transforming them into relentless killing machines far surpassing the already daunting nature of a space marine. The insertion of the Butcher's Nails into the World Eaters warriors had a profound effect, turning the entire legion into a force of uncontrollable savage killers. This transformation led them down a dark path of bloodlust and unbridled violence, ultimately resulting in their complete fall from grace. Reveling in the chaotic worship of Khorne, the blood god, they became known as Khornate Berserkers. Khornate Berserkers are now wholly devoted to Khorne, the chaos god of blood and war. They charge into battle with a singular focus, to sever heads and spill blood in brutal close-quarters combat, offering these sacrifices to Khorne. Each kill is a sacred act of worship dedicated to filling the skull throne of their god with the remains of their enemies. In their quest to serve Khorne, Khornate Berserkers favor weapons designed for close combat. The chain axe, a fearsome weapon, is the preferred choice of the blood god, though chainswords are also highly favored. When deprived of these deadly implements, they will resort to using bare fists, heavy rocks, or any object at hand to continue their violent onslaught. Khornate Berserkers are consumed by an unending rage and a lust for battle. This relentless fury makes them almost insensible to anything other than the act of killing. If no external enemies are present, they may even turn their rage upon one another, a spectacle that Khorne finds equally satisfying. For the blood god, all bloodshed is a tribute, whether it comes from foes or from the berserkers themselves. Noise Marines, the sonic warriors of Slaanesh. Noise Marines are Chaos Space Marines who have pledged their souls to the Chaos God Slaanesh. They are predominantly found within the Emperor's Children Traitor Legion, but are also present in other Slaanesh-devoted warbands like the Flawless Host. These warriors are notorious for their use of overwhelming sonic weaponry that disorients and demoralizes their enemies through a barrage of deafeningly loud psychosonic and pyrotechnic assaults. The inception of Noise Marines dates back to the Horus heresy, over 10,000 years ago. They were created by Fabius Bile, the chief apothecary of the Emperor's children, who aimed to perfect the gene seed of the Astartes. Utilizing forbidden knowledge of chaos, Fabius experimented to enhance the genetic makeup of Space Marines beyond their original design by the Emperor. His alterations led to the emergence of Noise Marines, whose abilities and equipment reflect their devotion to Slanesh. Due to Fabius Bile's genetic modifications, Noise Marines possess hearing that is 1,000 times more sensitive than that of a standard Space Marine. They can detect even the slightest variations in pitch, tone and volume, making their auditory perception extraordinarily acute. This heightened hearing profoundly affects their mental state, driving them to seek ever greater auditory stimulation. They experience intense emotional reactions to sounds, with louder and more discordant noises provoking extreme pleasure. Over time, only the chaotic cacophony of battle and the anguished screams of their enemies can satisfy their insatiable craving for auditory bliss. The signature weapons of Noise Marines are designed to exploit their enhanced hearing and the destructive potential of concentrated sound. They employ a variety of sonic weaponry, each tailored to produce devastating effects on the battlefield. Sonic Blaster. This weapon, resembling a bolter, emits discordant blasts of sound that can disorient and devastate enemy forces. The Sonic Blaster is capable of producing a range of sonic frequencies that cause severe physical and psychological damage. Blastmaster. A rifle-like weapon, the Blastmaster generates powerful sonic waves that can incapacitate foes by overwhelming their senses. It can also unleash focused sonic frequencies that can tear flesh and bone apart with terrifying efficiency. Doom Siren. Integrated into the bodies of Noise Marines, the Doom Siren amplifies their screams into torrents of pure sonic energy. This weapon can knock even the largest adversaries off their feet, creating chaos and destruction on the battlefield. The modifications and experiences of Noise Marines make them uniquely sensitive to sound, driving them to seek ever greater auditory sensations. Their enhanced hearing and the intense emotional responses it triggers cause them to crave the extreme sensory overload that only the din of battle can provide. As a result, they become addicted to the chaotic symphony of warfare, deriving immense pleasure from the screams of pain and fear they elicit from their foes. In addition to their formidable arsenal, Noise Marines possess a unique ability known as the Warp Scream. This potent sonic explosion can dull the sensory responses of all those within its range, rendering enemies disoriented and vulnerable. The Warp Scream adds another layer of terror to the Noise Marines' already fearsome reputation, making them even more disquieting in close-quarters combat. The Traitoris Militarum, Astra Militarum, turned to chaos. Throughout the ages, numerous troops from the Astra Militarum have defected to chaos, including entire regiments of their predecessors in the Imperial Army who sided with War Master Horus during the Horus Heresy. These betrayers now serve as the primary mortal infantry for the forces of chaos, known to the defenders of the Imperium as the Traitoris Militarum in High Gothic. During the Horus Heresy, many units of the Imperial Army, the forerunner to the modern Astra Militarum, joined Horus in his rebellion against the Imperium. This ancient treachery set a precedent, and even 10 millennia later, Chaos Lords continue to attract these defectors into their warbands and personal armies. These forces vary greatly in size and strength, ranging from small bands to entire regiments. Traitoris Militarum troops are often better equipped than the average Chaos cultist, with access to a wide array of weapons and vehicles. Over the last 10,000 years, entire companies and occasionally entire regiments of the Imperial Guard have been known to abandon their oaths to the Emperor and join the ranks of Chaos. When they defect, they bring with them their armories and vehicles, significantly enhancing the military capabilities of their new Chaos overlords. Much like their superiors, the Chaos Space Marines, the appearance and equipment of the Traitoris Militarum are often twisted and corrupted by their allegiance to the ruinous powers. Their uniforms, vehicles and weapons bear the marks of chaos, displaying grotesque mutations and dark symbols. Despite these changes, they retain a level of sanity, military discipline and combat proficiency that sets them apart from the more chaotic elements of the Lost and the Damned, such as mutants or beastmen. Unlike other servants of chaos who are often driven by madness or primal instincts, traitor guardsmen maintain their sanity and their highly disciplined military skills. Their extensive experience in the unending wars of the galaxy makes them reliable and formidable fighters. This combination of professional training and fanatical devotion to chaos makes them a valuable core of troops within the otherwise disorderly ranks of the lost and the damned. The Traitoris Militarum stands as a stark reminder of the corrupting influence of chaos, transforming loyal Imperial troops into agents of ruin. From their origins in the Imperial Army's betrayal during the Horus Heresy, to their continued service under Chaos Lords across the millennia, these soldiers provide a disciplined and deadly force within the Chaos warbands. Armed with their stolen equipment and marked by their dark allegiance, they bring both order and destruction to the armies of Chaos, embodying the complex and insidious threat that Chaos poses to the Imperium. Chaos cults, the insidious threat. Chaos cults represent one of the gravest internal threats to the Imperium of Man, as they actively seek to undermine and overthrow its rule from within. These clandestine groups are embedded across the myriad planets and civilizations that make up the Imperium, each uniquely adapted to the local environment and culture. Chaos cults vary widely in their practices and membership. On more primitive feral worlds, cults may engage in barbaric rituals and blood-soaked sacrifices, while on technologically advanced planets, they might manifest as philosophical or esoteric secret societies. Despite their differences, these groups are united in their dedication to the worship of the ruinous powers, whether they revere a single chaos god or pay homage to chaos undivided. The seductive call of chaos knows no bounds and can captivate individuals from all walks of life. Whether through promises of power, forbidden knowledge, or liberation from the rigid constraints of the Imperium, chaos offers a tantalizing escape. This temptation can corrupt individuals across the social spectrum, from the downtrodden citizens of hive worlds to the elite members of planetary aristocracies. Within the eye of terror, billions of men and women have succumbed to chaos, their souls willingly pledged to the chaos gods. These individuals form the populations of the demon worlds, existing in a twisted state of perpetual servitude and worship of their dark masters. These warped societies are a testament to the enduring and corrupting influence of chaos. Chaos cults are pervasive, infiltrating nearly every type of imperial world. Their membership and beliefs are as varied as the worlds they inhabit. On some planets, cults may be involved in ritualistic human sacrifices, while on others, they might take the form of intellectual or arcane brotherhoods that corrupt the minds of the elite. This versatility makes them exceptionally difficult to root out and eradicate. Cultists play a crucial role in the forces of chaos. They can be local recruits, drawn from the populations of worlds they seek to subvert, or they may be brought from the warp as the enslaved followers of the Chaos Space Marines. Once integrated into Chaos forces, they serve as the backbone of these armies, providing numbers and local knowledge that complement the brutal strength of the heretic Astartes. Fast attack, Chaos Raptors. Chaos Raptors are the twisted counterparts to the loyalist Space Marine assault squads, relishing the hunt and thriving on the terror they inspire. These Chaos Space Marines once served as elite shock attack jump troops during the Horus Heresy, a role that instilled in them a profound sense of superiority. In the ancient Space Marine legions, jump packs were a rare and prized asset. Astartes chosen for the role of jump troops were few, and this scarcity fostered a belief in their own exceptional status. As these warriors fell to chaos, their self-image as elite predators grew, evolving into a sadistic enjoyment of preying on the weak and vulnerable. Armed with their warp-tainted jump packs, Chaos Raptors take to the skies with deadly precision. They dart across the battlefield, using their mobility to hunt down and eliminate their targets. With bolt pistols and chainswords in hand, they swoop down on their prey, delivering brutal close-quarters death with a savage glee. To enhance their fearsome reputation, Raptors often customize their power armor to appear more menacing. They integrate amplifiers and voxcasters into their suits, emitting ear-piercing screams that heighten their terrifying presence. This psychological warfare is as much a part of their arsenal as their physical weaponry, sowing fear and confusion among their enemies before the raptors strike. Raptors are easily recognized by their large, archaic jump packs, relics from the era of the Great Crusade. These packs, with their distinctive arched intakes and thrusters, are a testament to the raptors' origins and their long history of terrorizing the battlefield. Despite their age, these jump packs have been twisted and empowered by the warp, giving raptors unparalleled agility and speed in combat. Chaos Raptors epitomize the predatory nature of the Chaos Space Marines. Originally elite assault troops of the Space Marine legions, their fall to chaos has transformed them into relentless hunters who delight in the slaughter of the weak. With their fearsome appearance, terrifying screams and deadly agility, they spread fear and death across the battlefield, a dark reflection of the noble assault squads they once were. As they soar through the skies on their ancient jump packs, Chaos Raptors remain a terrifying force, driven by their insatiable hunger for the hunt. Warp Talons, the demonic assault troops. Warp Talons are Chaos Space Marines who have evolved from raptors, their prolonged exposure to the warp twisting their bodies and granting them the ability to navigate the boundaries between dimensions. These sinister warriors can tear through the fabric of reality itself, emerging from the nightmarish realm of the warp to wreak havoc in the material world. Unlike their more terrestrial counterparts, Warp Talons possess the terrifying ability to move between dimensions. Using their razor-sharp vorpal claws, they slice through the veil, separating the physical universe from the immaterium, allowing them to appear suddenly and without warning on the battlefield. This capability makes them skillful ambush predators. In combat, Warp Talons are often deployed to devastating effect behind enemy lines. Chaos commanders utilize them as shock troops to disrupt and decimate key targets. Whether tasked with eliminating a retreating unit or assassinating an enemy leader, Warp Talons execute their missions with lethal precision. Their sudden appearances and brutal attacks leave no room for escape, and they are particularly effective at turning the tide of battle through their unexpected strikes. Warp Talons excel in aerial combat, leveraging their corrupted jump packs to maneuver through both the skies and the ethereal planes of the warp. Their mastery of both physical and dimensional warfare allows them to outflank and outmaneuver their foes, striking from impossible angles and retreating into the warp to avoid retaliation. Feared for their inhuman cruelty, Warp Talons relish the chaos and suffering they inflict. Their prolonged existence within the warp has stripped them of any remaining vestiges of humanity, leaving them as pitiless killers who take perverse pleasure in the terror and destruction they cause. This sadistic nature, combined with their fearsome abilities, makes them some of the most dreaded forces in the Chaos Arsenal. Chaos Space Marine bikers are highly mobile forces within the ranks of the Chaos armies. Equipped with robust bikes and heavily armed, these riders excel in reconnaissance and executing devastating raids behind enemy lines. Their bikes are built for endurance and power, featuring large engines capable of transporting their heavily armored riders swiftly across the battlefield. Chaos Space Marine bikes are designed for combat, featuring onboard weaponry that allows the rider to fire while maintaining full control of the vehicle. These bikes are often adorned with an array of blades and spurs, turning them into deadly instruments of war that can slash and entangle enemies as the biker speeds past. This combination of firepower and melee capability makes them versatile and dangerous in close encounters. Within the ranks of the Chaos Space Marines, bikers are known for their merciless and sadistic nature. They are notorious for continuously pursuing defeated foes over great distances, driven by a savage desire to kill or capture their prey. This relentless pursuit is often motivated by more than just bloodlust. These riders hope that their quarry will lead them to new targets and opportunities for plunder. Chaos Space Marine bikers are invaluable for their ability to scout and gather intelligence. Their speed and agility make them perfect for reconnaissance missions, allowing them to probe enemy defenses and report back crucial information. Additionally, They excel at launching surprise attacks, using their mobility to infiltrate enemy lines and wreak havoc before quickly withdrawing to safety. The bikes ridden by these Chaos Marines are more than just transportation. They are engines of destruction. With their powerful motors and robust construction, these bikes can traverse rough terrain and smash through obstacles with ease. Heavy support: Obliterators. Obliterators are former Chaos Space Marines, often originally Tech Marines, who have undergone a horrific transformation due to exposure to the Obliterator virus. This demonic contagion has mutated them into malformed, bloodthirsty hybrids of human, demon and machine, warping their once loyal service to the Imperium into a nightmare of chaos. The Obliterator virus is a sinister affliction that turns its victims into living weapons. Those infected can absorb any weapon they hold for too long, integrating it into their bodies. These mutations allow Obliterators to spawn various armaments from their flesh and even generate their own ammunition. Their bodies have become a fusion of organic tissue and demonic machinery, making them formidable and unpredictable on the battlefield. As a result of their grotesque mutations, Chaos Obliterators are permanently bonded to their power armor. This fusion of flesh and metal contributes to their insanity, which is exacerbated by the constant trauma of absorbing and manifesting weapons. Their minds are continually assaulted by the strain of their condition, pushing them into a state of relentless madness. The insanity of Obliterators may also stem from the integration of the machine spirits of their absorbed weapons and armor. These spirits, once loyal to the Imperium, become corrupted and fuse into a single destructive demonic entity within the Obliterator's body after being infected by the virus. This amalgamation of corrupted machine spirits and demonic influence drives the Obliterator to further acts of violence and chaos. Unlike other Chaos Space Marines who are loyal to a specific traitor legion or renegade chapter, Obliterators operate as mercenaries within the forces of Chaos. They offer their significant combat abilities to the highest bidder, driven by an insatiable hunger for ancient technology and powerful artifacts known as archaeotech. This craving for technological relics makes them valuable and sought-after assets in the chaotic struggles for power within the warp. Havocs, the heavy weapon of chaos. Havocs are the chaos equivalent of the loyalist Space Marine Devastators, adept at wielding powerful heavy weapons to obliterate their enemies from a distance. These specialists are trained to deliver overwhelming firepower, capable of tearing through both infantry and armor with relentless precision. Havoc squads are known for their ability to dominate large sections of the battlefield with their vast arsenal. Equipped with a variety of heavy weapons, they unleash devastating volleys that can decimate enemy forces and vehicles alike. Their expertise in ranged combat makes them indispensable in providing support during chaotic engagements. The sheer power of their weapons often leads Havocs to become obsessed with the destructive force they wield. They revel in the chaos and carnage they cause, perceiving themselves as deities of the battlefield. Each squeeze of the trigger brings them immense satisfaction as they reduce their foes to mere remnants with merciless efficiency. A typical Havoc squad consists of 4 to 9 Chaos Space Marines, led by an aspiring champion. These squads are strategically positioned to support their comrades by laying down a restless barrage of suppressive fire. Their firepower is crucial during assaults, providing cover and softening up enemy positions to facilitate the advance of their warband. To maximize their effectiveness, Havocs often use Rhino-armored personnel carriers for rapid deployment. These vehicles allow them to quickly move to advantageous positions, ensuring they can apply their firepower from optimal vantage points. Once in position, they unleash their full arsenal. Defilers, the demon engines. At the behest of Abaddon the Despoiler, Defilers were brought into existence, becoming the most prevalent form of demon engine encountered by the Imperium of Man. These demon-possessed vehicles embody the ruthless might of chaos and are designed to sow destruction across the battlefield. Defilers are terrifying amalgamations of metal and malevolence infused with the essence of a demon. These monstrous war machines feature 2 enormous gnashing claws and 6 barbed mechanical legs that enable them to move with predatory agility. Each Defiler is heavily armed, typically equipped with a built-in autocannon, among other weaponry. However, the armament can vary significantly, as each Defiler's weapons mix is unique, tailored to its particular role in combat. Designed to rival the Space Marine dreadnoughts, Defilers are built to unleash chaos and devastation on the combat zone. They serve as the vanguard of the Chaos forces, smashing through enemy lines and clearing a path for the oncoming hordes. Their primary objective is to annihilate anything that stands in their way, leaving a trail of destruction that paves the way for the rest of the Chaos army. The core of a Defiler is an enraged demonic entity, trapped within its metallic shell. This demon is forcibly bound to the Defiler through arcane sorcery controlled by the sinister tech priests of the Dark Mechanicum. These blasphemous rituals sedate and confine the demon, compelling it to operate the war machine in a merciless quest for destruction. Only the total annihilation of the Defiler can free the demon, sending it back to the warp from which it was summoned, Chaos. Dreadnoughts, the unstable behemoths of Chaos. Chaos dreadnoughts, often referred to as Hellbrutes, starkly contrast with their revered Imperial counterparts. Unlike the Loyalist dreadnoughts, which are honored for their wisdom and battlefield experience, Chaos dreadnoughts are feared and loathed. The Chaos Space Marine entombed within these hulking machines has been driven to madness by centuries of confinement in a cybernetic sarcophagus, his mind and soul twisted by the corrupting influence of chaos. When not engaged in combat, Chaos dreadnoughts are typically kept shackled and restrained. The occupant, having endured millennia of entrapment, is often consumed by insanity. This insanity makes these dread war machines highly unpredictable and dangerous, even to their allies. When there are no enemies in sight, the deranged Hellbrute may lash out indiscriminately, turning its wrath upon friendly forces. The inherent unreliability and volatile nature of Chaos dreadnoughts led Abaddon the Despoiler to commission the creation of the Defiler as a more stable and controlled alternative. While Chaos dreadnoughts are equipped with weaponry similar to that of Imperial dreadnoughts, they lack the specific designations and roles typically assigned to their Loyalist counterparts. Due to their instability, Chaos dreadnoughts are seldom deployed as elite units. Instead, they are utilized primarily for providing fire support or spearheading frontal assaults. Their destructive power makes them effective in these roles, though their unpredictable behavior always poses a risk. In earlier times, Chaos dreadnoughts could be imbued with additional powers through special marks dedicated to one of the Chaos gods. These marks granted them unholy abilities and sorcerous enhancements, transforming them into stronger versions of their Imperial counterparts. However, such practices have become rare among these warped cyborgs in modern conflicts. Chaos Rhino. The Rhino armored personnel carrier is a reverent vehicle design, serving the Space Marines as their most numerous support transport since the days of the Great Crusade and the Horus Heresy. This rugged and reliable vehicle has been a staple on battlefields for millennia, used by both the Loyalist and traitor Astartes. During the Great Crusade, the Rhino was a primary transport for the Astartes legions. However, when the legions fractured into Loyalist and traitor factions during the Horus Heresy, the Chaos Space Marines took many of these vehicles with them into the Eye of Terror after their defeat in the Great Scouring. Over the centuries, Chaos Space Marines have continued to acquire new Rhinos, often by looting them from fallen Imperial foes or raiding Imperial supply convoys. Once in the hands of the heretic Astartes, the Rhinos undergo a gruesome transformation. All symbols of the Imperium are defaced or obliterated. The Chaos Space Marines adorn their stolen Rhinos with dark banners proclaiming their allegiance to the ruinous powers. The vehicles are further modified with spikes, blades and grisly trophies, turning them into fearsome icons of chaos. Throughout the 10 millennia of their relentless long war against the Imperium, the Chaos Space Marines have relied on the Rhino as their primary transport vehicle. Despite its ancient origins, the Rhino remains a robust and versatile platform, capable of withstanding the rigors of constant warfare. The heretic Astartes value its reliability and durability, continuing to use it extensively in their operations against the forces of the Corpse Emperor. Chaos Predators, the heavy tanks of the traitor legions. The Predator is the primary battle tank of the Space Marines, renowned for its adaptability in various combat roles. Whether configured for anti-armor engagements, anti-infantry firepower, or a versatile support function, the Predator's design allows it to meet the demands of the battlefield with lethal efficiency. Built on the versatile Rhino chassis, the Predator features a robust, armored turret that can be equipped with either an autocannon or lascannons for long-range firepower. Additionally, the tank can be outfitted with side sponsons that carry heavy bolters, lascannons, or other weaponry. Unlike the Rhino, the Predator sacrifices troop transport capacity to maximize its combat effectiveness, boasting a reinforced chassis with extra layers of ceramite and adamantium armor for enhanced protection. In the hands of the Chaos Space Marines, Predators serve as crucial mobile heavy support units in their fast-moving assaults. These tanks are adept at laying down massive amounts of firepower to clear enemy armor or support infantry advances. Whether cutting through enemy vehicles or shredding advancing infantry, the Chaos Predator is a versatile tool of destruction. Predators used by the traitor legions have often seen centuries or even millennia of service, surviving countless battles and becoming more twisted and adorned with each engagement. Chaos Vindicators, the siege engines of the traitors. The Vindicator is a powerful Space Marine assault vehicle built on the adaptable Rhino standard template construct chassis. Unlike its troop-carrying counterpart, the Vindicator sacrifices all transport capabilities to accommodate extensive reinforcement and additional ammunition storage, supporting the deployment of its powerful Demolisher cannon. To compensate for its massive weaponry, the Vindicator is heavily armored with reinforced ceramite and adamantium plating. This fortification, coupled with internal bracing and substantial recoil suppressors, allows it to absorb the massive force generated by its primary armament. The front of the vehicle is shielded by a massive armored plate, enabling the Vindicator to advance under heavy enemy fire and close the distance to its target. The Vindicator's main weapon, the Demolisher cannon, is designed for close-range destruction. Although it lacks the long reach of a standard battle cannon, its firepower makes it a superior tool for breaching defensive structures and obliterating armored targets. The cannon fires large-bore shells filled with high explosives, ideal for demolishing city walls, bunkers, and fortified positions. It excels in rooting out entrenched infantry, shattering enemy strongholds, and breaking through the gates of citadels. Chaos Vindicators have been a crucial asset for the traitor legions since the Horus Heresy, playing a significant role during the Siege of Terror. Over the 10 millennia that followed, these vehicles have continued to serve the forces of chaos, seen frequently among the ranks of the traitor legions and renegade Space Marine warbands. Their destructive capabilities are highly valued for operations involving sieges and assaults on fortified positions. The Iron Warriors, devoted followers of the demon Primarch Perturabo, are renowned for their mastery of siege warfare. This legion often deploys entire squadrons of Vindicators, each vehicle adorned with the grim trophies of their conquests, pieces of wreckage from devastated imperial cities. These Chaos Vindicators are emblazoned with the dark symbols of chaos, a testament to their allegiance and their role as harbingers of destruction. Chaos Land Raider. The Land Raider is a ground vehicle fielded by the Space Marines, more akin to a mobile fortress than a mere battle tank. Its unmatched firepower and impregnable armor make it a fearsome presence on the battlefield. The Land Raider's design features exceptionally thick ceramite and adamantium armor plating on all sides, front, flanks, and rear, allowing it to charge headlong into enemy lines with near impunity. This impenetrable armor can withstand all but the most potent anti-tank weaponry, making it virtually invulnerable to most threats. Within its massive hull, the Land Raider can transport a full squad of Chaos Space Marines, or more commonly, a squad of the dreaded Chaos Terminators. Its interior is spacious enough to deliver these elite warriors directly into the heart of combat. Upon reaching its destination, the Land Raider's front assault ramp lowers to unleash its ferocious cargo, throwing them into the fray while its onboard weapons provide covering fire. Chaos Space Marines highly prize the Land Raider, given their scarcity within the traitor legions. These powerful vehicles are not only valued for their combat abilities, but also for the prestige they confer. Chaos Lords and Champions often claim Land Raiders as their personal transports, embellishing them with large Chaos banners and gruesome trophies, often the remains of fallen loyalist space marines, and adorning them with symbols of the Dark Gods. When in battle, the Land Raiders' arsenal, including its powerful las cannons, can lay down devastating firepower, making it a bastion of strength on the battlefield. Whether spearheading an attack or serving as a mobile stronghold, the Land Raiders' resilience and firepower make it a critical asset for both offensive operations and defensive stands. Soul Grinders, juggernauts of chaos. Soul Grinders are the apex of demon engines, a terrifying blend of potent demonic entities and war machines. These fearsome constructs originate from wreckage touched by chaos, such as the remnants of Chaos Battle Titans and Defilers, which are drawn from real space into the Immaterium through warp rifts like the Eye of Terror and the Maelstrom. In the Immaterium, the Forge of Souls stands as a dark and independent bastion where constant battles rage on its ash plains. Here, demons of considerable power compete fiercely, seeking the privilege to merge with the mechanical constructs crafted by the Forge and transform into Soul Grinders. This transformation grants them a body of steel and ceramite, vastly extending their presence in the mortal realm for decades or even centuries, as their metal forms gradually morph to resemble their true demonic selves. To earn the honor of becoming a Soul Grinder, a demon must make the Iron Pact with the Masters of the Forge of Souls, swearing 3 binding oaths. Firstly, the souls harvested by their mighty blades must fuel the forge. Secondly, the destroyed remnants of war machines crushed by their claws must be surrendered to the forge. Lastly, if the Forge of Souls is ever threatened by a chaos god seeking dominion over it, the Soul Grinders must defend it, forsaking their former allegiances to any of the 4 chaos gods. On the battlefield, Soul Grinders lead the charge of the demonic legions. They spearhead assaults with their overwhelming firepower, softening enemy lines and providing cover for the advancing troops of the Dark Gods. Their demonic essence allows them to materialize unexpectedly, rendering them immune to small arms fire and highly resistant to all but the most potent anti-tank weapons. Soul Grinders are equipped with an array of deadly weaponry. Their feared harvester guns, constructed by the demonic artisans of chaos from the fragments of ancient mortal weaponry, unleash rapid barrages that tear through enemy ranks. Yet their most dangerous weapon is the Maw Cannon, a horrific mouth capable of releasing the devastating energies of the warp. This weapon can manifest in various terrifying forms, spewing torrents of warp flame, lashing out with searing energy tongues, or launching masses of mutating ichor that explode with catastrophic force. At close range, Soul Grinders become virtually unstoppable. Their massive adamantium claws and piston-powered limbs, charged with demonic power, crush everything in their path. Few opponents can withstand the fury of a Soul Grinder once it breaches their defenses. Chaos Knights. The Chaos Knights, also known as Renegade Knights, Demon Knights and the Questa Traitoris in High Gothic, are Imperial Knight combat walkers, their fallen noble pilots and knight houses corrupted to the service of chaos. Humanoid war engines that tower over their foes, each Chaos Knight carries an army's worth of firepower upon its weaponized limbs and hulking carapace. At close quarters, their roaring Reaper chainswords and crushing Thunderstrike gauntlets destroy what their trampling feet cannot, scattering terrified survivors before their unstoppable advance. The ground shudders beneath the godlike tread of the Renegade Knights. Even one such looming war engine possesses the firepower to annihilate entire regiments of enemy warriors, pick apart armored columns, and swat squadrons of aircraft from the skies. Chaos Lords and rebellious demagogues will go to great lengths to secure the services of such a lone warrior, sacrificing whatever they must to ensure that this god of destruction fights at their side. Deployed in great number, the Questa Traitoris are more fearsome still, and have been known to bring entire worlds to heel, scourging them by blade and flame in the name of the Dark Gods. Each Chaos Knight is an unhallowed relic of humanity's ancient past. They are twisted reflections of the Imperial Knights, corrupted in form and spirit by fell sorceries, dark worship and malefic re-engineering. The knight suits were first created using standard template construct databases during the dark age of technology, and many have survived through the innumerable wars that have characterized the long Terran millennia since. Since the Horus heresy, thousands of individual knights and even whole knight houses have fallen to chaos. Each instance of treachery is a monumental blow to the Imperium. The nobles and their knight suits are not only crucial cogs in humanity's war machine, they are considered to be among the most unshakably loyal servants of the Emperor. The mere suggestion that a noble could forswear their vows and fight against the Imperium's servants is tantamount to blasphemy. It is whispered that the Departamento Munitorum has had imperial officers executed for heresy rather than acknowledge their claims that they have done battle with turncoat nobles. Yet the terrifying reality is that Chaos Knights bent on anarchy and slaughter march upon the Emperor's realm in ever greater numbers. Fallen nobles embark on campaigns of destruction for many reasons. Some do so to conquer territory in the name of the baleful deities they worship. Others have sworn fealty to the Dark Mechanicum, the heretic Astartes or powerful demonic entities, and answer the dread summons of war whenever they are called upon. Others still are driven by insanity and profane visions, launching quests to upend the very fabric of existence and transform the galaxy into a twisted hellscape. The fallen Titan legions of chaos. During the Horus heresy, several Titan legions from the Collegia Titanica, such as the notorious Legio Mortis, pledged their allegiance to War Master Horus and became traitors to the Imperium. When the heresy ended in defeat, these traitor Titans and their crews retreated into the Eye of Terror alongside other Chaos forces. Over the ensuing millennia, the corrupting influence of the Immaterium and the Dark Gods transformed these mighty war machines into something far more terrifying. Exposed to the raw energies of the warp and the corruptive touch of chaos, many of these traitor Titans underwent dramatic alterations. Their machine spirits were often supplanted by demonic intelligences, turning them into possessed demon engines. The physical appearance of these Titans was also warped, their hulls reshaped into grotesque forms that pleased the ruinous powers. The crews, once human, were twisted into eternal, damned servants of the Dark Gods, bound forever to their Titans and unable to ever leave them. The once standard classes of Imperial Titans have been reclassified under Chaos. The Warhound-class Scout Titan becomes the Feral-class Scout Titan. The Reaver-class Battle Titan is transformed into the Ravager-class Battle Titan. The Warlord-class Battle Titan is now the Bannerlord-class Battle Titan. And the rare Imperator-class Emperor Titan is redesignated as the Abominatus-class Emperor Titan. These Chaos Titans retain the impressive firepower of their original forms, now enhanced by their demonic essence. Despite being fewer in number compared to their Imperial counterparts, Chaos Titans are arguably more powerful due to their demonic enhancements. Their presence on the battlefield is a nightmarish sight, often requiring the combined might of several Imperial Titans to challenge them. These distorted behemoths bring an overwhelming combination of physical might and sorcerous power. Lesser Demons of Chaos. Lesser demons play crucial roles in the armies of the Chaos Gods, each embodying the unique characteristics and powers of their patron deity. Here is a closer look at the various types of lesser demons that served Tzeentch, Slaanesh, Nurgle and Khorne. Lesser demons of Tzeentch. Horrors. Horrors are the fundamental troops in Tzeentch's legions, known for their proficiency in ranged combat. They are described as ever-shifting masses of raw chaos energy capable of assuming any form they desire. These demons excel in launching armor-piercing projectiles, making them lethal against infantry and heavy infantry. However, they offer limited support against heavily armored vehicles. Due to their ranged capabilities, horrors are best deployed in positions where they can target and decimate enemy troops from a distance, providing a solid backbone for Tzeentch's forces. Flamers. Similar to horrors, flamers are entities of pure chaos, but are equipped with multiple mouths that emit streams of flame. These living flamethrowers are a sight of terror on the battlefield. Flamers can effectively target both infantry and lightly armored vehicles with their fiery assaults. Their ability to instill fear makes them useful for breaking the morale of larger enemy squads. Flamers should be used to disrupt and scatter enemy formations, creating openings for other demonic forces to exploit. Lesser demons of Slaanesh. Demonettes. Demonettes are the swift, deadly warriors of Slaanesh, known for their seductive allure and lightning-fast melee attacks. They can charm enemies into a state of inaction only to strike when it's too late for the foe to react. These agile demons are horrifying in close combat, shredding through infantry and keeping pace with fast attack units such as Chaos, Space Marine Raptors. Demonettes are most effective when summoned near Chaos units already engaged in combat, allowing them to flank and overwhelm the enemy with their speed and lethal grace. Fiends of Slaanesh. Fiends of Slaanesh are chimerical hybrids of human, reptile and insect, given a body through the perversity of the Prince of Pleasure. A fiend has a long, segmented body covered in delicate scales that shimmer as it moves. It has 4 legs ending in disturbingly humanoid feet and 2 slender arms with vicious clamp-like claws that the fiend uses to disembowel the enemy. A fiend's tongue contains a narcotic poison that numbs the mind and body of those it licks, causing them to fall into a coma, during which the fiend will slice them apart slowly. Fiends move incredibly quickly, using their pincers and tail to maintain their balance. As it sprints forward, a fiend irregularly sachets from side to side, so that it can appear to be running sideways or backwards, confounding the enemy. Lesser demons of Nurgle. Plague-bearers. Plague-bearers are the rotting Cyclopean soldiers of Nurgle, slow-moving but incredibly resilient. They are carriers of the sorcerous plague known as Nurgle's Rot, spreading disease and decay wherever they go. Though not fast, plague-bearers excel in melee and close-range combat. They can inflict massive damage over time, causing devastation to infantry, heavy infantry and light armor. Their presence on the battlefield is a psychological weapon in itself, demoralizing enemies with their misshapen appearance and the infectious death they spread. Plague-bearers are best used to anchor lines and absorb enemy attacks, slowly grinding down the opposition. Nurglings. Nurglings are small, lesser demons dedicated to Nurgle, grotesque in appearance that infest the battlefield and the bodies of those who fight upon it. When selected as an individual unit, Nurglings act as a swarm, attacking together to bring down the mightiest prey. They are small enough to fit through the gaps in any armor, making them great for slowing down, but not necessarily killing an enemy. Their small size also makes them hard to hit for enemy fire. Nurglings can also accompany a champion of Nurgle. Lesser demons of Khorne. Bloodletters. Bloodletters are the fearsome shock troops of Khorne, embodying the blood god's rage and martial prowess. These horned humanoid demons are relentless in close combat, wielding weapons that act as power weapons. Bloodletters are highly effective against all types of armor and infantry due to their powerful melee attacks. They are one of the few demonic units to don armor, making them even more fearsome. Bloodletters thrive in the chaos of melee, where their savage strength and bloodlust can overwhelm opponents. They are ideal for leading charges and breaking enemy lines. Fleshhounds. Fleshhounds are the feral, canine-like demons of Khorne, used for fast attacks and continuous pursuit of their prey. They are equipped with iron and brass collars that provide physical protection and a mystical ward against psychic attacks. These swift beasts are devastating in close combat, particularly against infantry. They are relentless hunters, tracking their prey with unerring precision and never stopping until their quarry is slain. Fleshhounds are best employed to hunt down retreating enemies or to neutralize enemy psychers, making them the bane of sorcerers and other psyker units across the galaxy. Juggernauts of Khorne. The Juggernauts of Khorne are large, armored demonic beasts resembling a rhino or bull. These demons act as unstoppable mounts for the Chaos champions of the Blood God. Using a Juggernaut not only increases a champion's speed, but their resistance to enemy fire, as well as their overall combat effectiveness and intimidation factor in melee combat. Furies, the cowardly demons of the Warp. Furies are considered the weakest of all demons and are a common sight within the demonic legions of any of the ruinous powers. These creatures are characterized by their bat-like wings, sharp claws, and horns. While capable of overpowering an ordinary human, they are inherently cowardly and will only engage in combat when victory seems guaranteed. The moment the tides of battle turn against them, Furies will swiftly retreat to the skies. It is believed that Furies are formed from the souls of mortals who are unable to commit to the worship of a single chaos god. These individuals did not embrace chaos undivided out of genuine devotion to all the dark gods, but rather oscillated between them, driven solely by the pursuit of personal gain. As a result, when their mortal lives ended, none of the chaos gods claimed their souls. Denied entry into the realms of any of the ruinous powers, these souls are condemned to exist as scary, gargoyle-like demons. In this form, they are eternally tossed by the chaotic currents of the immaterium, lacking purpose or direction. This endless, directionless existence is their punishment for their indecisiveness and lack of true faith. When a demonic incursion breaches the boundaries of reality, Furies see an opportunity to escape their eternal torment, if only temporarily. They swarm to the battlefield, driven by a primal desire to unleash their pent-up fury and frustration upon mortals. Despite their lowly status and cowardly nature, their rage can make them dangerous in numbers, especially to unprepared foes. Furies are marked by their hideous, gargoyle-like forms, complete with bat-like wings, razor-sharp claws, and menacing horns. Furies are notoriously cowardly. At the first sign of defeat or failure, they will abandon the battlefield, fleeing back into the sky to avoid danger. There are a vast and innumerable number of demonic entities within the Immaterium, and their number and type is constantly changing due to the impermanent nature of chaos itself. Each of the ruinous powers is served by its own cavalcade of greater demons and demon princes, whose appearance on a battlefield alongside the other forces of chaos is rare and usually only occurs when the chaos gods are seeking to earn a major victory against the forces of order. As such, chaos armies can sometimes be found accompanied by new and potent types of demons that have not yet been catalogued by the Ordo Malleus of the Inquisition.